afternoon. This is the market update for buy sell short for Tuesday, December 17th. Big update yesterday on Wall Street, and then today we kind of treaded water. Of course, the beginning of a two-day Fed meeting tomorrow is the most anticipated Fed meeting until the next Fed meeting happens. Well, at least the consensus is that the Fed will begin to taper at tomorrow's meeting, or at least give a roadmap to what they're tapering or when the tapering will begin. I would be extremely surprised if the Fed was to announce a taper tomorrow. And the reason being, the week before one of the busiest shopping weeks of the year, actually these next few days, busiest shopping weeks of the year, I don't see them pulling liquidity out of the market. Actually, I see the opposite. On Thursday, the day after the Fed meeting, we have one of the largest Fed POMO days that we've seen all year. That is when the Fed goes out and they buy bonds, essentially putting in money into the system. The liquidity that you hear talked about that they're going to taper. $7 billion is expected to flow in on Thursday. So it's hard to imagine that Bernanke is going to announce a taper at his very last meeting with a new chairman coming in next year. I believe the consensus is 60% of economists believe that a taper will be announced tomorrow, and I could start a joke here about economists. Let's just say 90% of the time, 60% of economists think that the other 40% are incorrect, meaning gobbledygook. Who cares? I would be very surprised if we see a taper tomorrow. If we do not see taper, off to the races we go. Looking at the daily chart, you can see we are right here at resistance. We're right at the downtrend line on RSI on the daily chart. You can see here we still have that extreme negative MACD, and that we have been using to time very nice bounces in both the indices and in stocks over the last several months. Stochastics also still in the basement. Looking at the daily chart, we have formed a very nice flag here on the daily chart. Also, you will note the blue line here, 50-day moving average, red line, 200-day moving average. We are about to get a golden cross on the Dow 15-minute chart. Will happen tomorrow. The last golden cross failed. It is extremely rare to get two failures in a row. The average upside move over the last several years is about 150 points to the upside on a golden cross. That would take us right up to that previous resistance we saw at the last cross. Dow Transports, a little bit of a worry. A little bit of a pause today on the Dow Transports, but it's still above the 50-day. Still above the 200-day. This is the indice that we really need to see a breakout on. Again, like the Dow, we've got extreme negative MACD. We've got oversold stochastics. So, all the ingredients are there for a big move into year-end. Again, it's going to, of course, depend on what the market thinks about what the Fed says tomorrow. Russell, identical to the Dow Transports. It's just waiting for an excuse to go. And we are starting to see a lot of stocks move early. The January pop so far has been excellent, but we're actually seeing a lot of stocks move a lot earlier than they tend to. I've actually seen a couple of our plays blow up as I've sat there on the sidelines waiting for them. HSOL was one of those stocks on my January pop list. OMEX, very disappointed. I actually screwed this one up. Should have had us in this one today, but I saw the redness in the shipper sector, so I didn't jump in. This one bucked the trend. Another one, news actually drove this one higher. LPTH, look at that move. Very sad to see that one go. So stocks are starting to pop left and right. Our first January popper play, ACST, $1.25 to $1.44 in a day. Did the same thing the next day, and now has retraced and looks like it's going to consolidate right back down around the 120s area. Now, on these January popper plays, they give those initial big spikes, which is, should come second nature to book half, at least two-thirds, half, two-thirds on spikes like that, without even thinking about it. Whenever you see stocks do that. But these stocks, just because they pop once, doesn't mean they're done. Popped big, came back down, still some residual tax selling. This one will go again. We had a big winner yesterday on XGTI 167, and we were buyers on this one. Hit 199 on the day, 20% move intraday. Gave it back again today, but we've been seeing this, especially when they get big volume. The next day they get a little bit of a retrace, but this is not an uncommon thing, especially even without January poppers. We see these big moves. We see a retrace the next day. Day 3, day 4 is when you see that return up to the highs. So these are stocks that could give many entries and many pops over the next couple of weeks. Remember, this January pop move moves into the second, third week of January. A couple of new ones. Actually, I'm going to start off with what I think is one of the most classic January pop setups. PTSX 0.360. These guys do movie production work for studios, TV studios, movie studios. It is an extremely low float, low volume stock. It's got 4 million shares in the float. Really low volume. CEO owns 548,000. This guy owns over 5% of the total outstanding stock. Cash flow positive, which is always great. And you can see here, this is the classic formation we look for this time of the year. Just slow bleed, no news, bam, 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 tax selling, slow, and then we start to get a rounded bottom, 70%, 60% drop over the last couple of months on obvious tax loss selling. Jumped into this one today, 60 cents lights this one up. It ended right below that level today. 200-day moving average is calling. That is at 92 cents right now. Back in September, this stock went from 81 cents to $1.40 over the course of 3 days. Volume came in, and it went boom. Same thing is starting to happen here. We are about to get a positive ADX cross. Stochastics in the basement. RSI breaking 50 just like it did on that last power move. Love this chart for a January pop move. Looks great for a continuation move higher over the next few days. They got a NASDAQ listing extension for another 6 months, so there's no delisting worries. They generate positive cash from operations, so there is no dilution worries. Insiders are buying. It's in a hot sector. One of my top long-term plays is STRZA. I've talked about this one many times. Just like Netflix, media content plays are the place to be right now, and you can't have content without companies like PTSX. I think they're going to have a great year. Aside from that fact, excellent January pop setup. It has just begun. Stem, tick, 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 just coiling right here. They'll really start to chase this puppy on a breakthrough, the 50-day, 128, 129. So keep that on watch. Place your alerts for that price level. FALC. This is a stock that, as you can see, has just been walked down over the last couple of weeks. Got a little bit of a mini pump here on Twitterville a week or so ago, and as you can see, that brought the sellers out. Just slow bleed right down to a nice uptrend line support. Extreme negative MACD level right now, and you can see it had an extreme negative MACD level the last time before it went up 50% in 5 days. The most oversold RSI has been in a long time. Extreme negative MACD, stochastics in the basement. 127 is where they stopped it, but I mean, this could see a really quick bounce back to the 50-day moving average at 143 very quickly. Very nice January bounce set up here right now. That's it for the video. Got a lot more plays coming. The fact that I'm starting to see a lot of these plays move earlier, we're going to start sending out more plays. So watch out. We did a few plays today. Going to be even more plays over the next few days. So get ready. It's that time of the year. Profit printing time. Any questions? Shoot me an email. Otherwise, see you guys in the chat tomorrow. Have a great night.